I am Hidetaka Miyazaki. And I am George R.R. Martin. George R.R. Martin, I am working on a video game called Elden Ring, and I want you to write the backstory for it. Okay, Hidetaka Miyazaki, but first I am going to kiss you. Elden Ring is the latest FromSoft title, and I have been eagerly awaiting it ever since it was announced. And now that it's finally here, let's take a look at it. First and foremost, Elden Ring can be described as an open-world Souls game. One might not think that the Souls formula lends itself well to an open world, but it works, and it works well. You still have huge, very well-designed locations with shortcuts leading back to earlier checkpoints, traps and ambushes, and a wide variety of enemies. You have a lockstone sort of thing and the power stance mechanic from Dark Souls 2 without the arbitrary stat requirements. You have weapon arts from Dark Souls 3 that are now interchangeable and come with affinities tied to them that change how your weapons scale in the form of Ashes of War. You can use charged heavy attacks, jump attacks, and guard counters to stance break enemies for a critical hit like in Sekiro. And they put these Stakes of Marika in that you can respawn at if the last real checkpoint you have is too far away. To put it simply, they put all the best aspects from the Souls series, Bloodborne and Sekiro, into a huge, expansive, gorgeous map. And one more very important thing that you absolutely need for a map this big is a way to move quickly, which means you get a horse. And that means there's horseback combat. It completely changes the way you approach some enemies without removing all of the challenge. You have to account for how fast you can swing, how fast you're closing in on your target, and of course your stamina. Leading up to the release, I read somewhere that this was going to be more accessible than other Souls games, and some people in the community were worried that that would mean this game would be too easy. Were they right about that? Nope! Hey, look what time it is! Part of the open world means you can find bosses just about anywhere. You'll just be killing a poison-spewing thing in the swamp and then, oh shit! I've heard that the PC version of the game runs poorly, and my PC is only marginally better than the minimum requirements to run the game. Bearing that in mind, I turned the graphics down a little for the sake of performance, and it runs fine for me. I have a perfect 60 FPS for running away from this weird bird thing. Oh, shit! The only problems I've had so far is the occasional frame drop, and yes, it is annoying and usually happens at the most inopportune times, but it only happens once in a great while, and for only a few seconds at a time. Aside from that, there's been a few multiplayer issues, but you can probably pin that on the internet. And one time when a boss's AI stopped working, and of course the classic camera problems. But that's it for the problems I've faced. I have been playing almost non-stop for a whole week now, and have recorded far more footage than I could ever possibly need for this video. And I still have so much left to see, so much left to do. I have just barely sunk my teeth into this game and have already spent well over 30 hours playing. Sure, it can be infuriating sometimes, but I just can't stop. I want to replace my blood with this game. One of the best parts of these games is the boss fights. Some of them aren't too hard, and some of them will drive you to punch a hole through your monitor. They are what make the game. It has been so long since I had to throw myself at a boss over and over, dying and failing repeatedly, getting angry, calming down, learning their patterns, and having my heart race as the end comes closer in sight, building up such wonderful tension, and then finally landing that final hit, leaving me there to slowly decompress with my hands still shaking afterward. That is the feeling that I play these games for. Elden Ring has given me that feeling of euphoric triumph so many times already, and as of the time I'm writing this script, it hasn't even been out for a whole week. Of course, you could just summon other players or spirits to make them easier, but in my opinion, that just takes away from that feeling of overcoming these huge obstacles. From Software has quickly become my favorite game company of all time because of that feeling I get by rising to this challenge, and I think Elden Ring is easily their best work to date. I have waited for this game for so long, and it was well worth the wait. Elden Ring is nothing short of a masterpiece, and I would strongly recommend playing it for yourself if you haven't already. As for me, I've still got plenty of the game left, so I probably won't be seeing the light of the day for a few more weeks. What are you still doing here?